मातयेचेच आमी पूत, मातयेचेच घडिल्ले. हे मातयेचोच आमकां वास, हे मातयेकूच आमचो स्वास. मातयेचोच आमकां रंग, मातयेंतूच आमची मुळां. ओठांची पानां, हातांच्यो ताळयो, दोळ्यांची फुलां, पांयांची पाळां. हे मातयेंतूच खेळे, हे मातयेंतूच लोळे, हे मातयेंतूच एकमेकांक मेळे. हे मातयेचीच आमची घटाय, ह्या मातयेचीच आमची पिराय. हे मातयेवरीच आमची पिराय, हे मातयेवरीच आमी निबर. हे मातयेकूच आमचो गोबर.
Endemic to the Western Ghats and India's western coast is laterite soil, a soil that has inspired people to grow dryland green crops, make bricks, and build houses. Laterite has also brought about Goa's most unique creation. The way Maharashtra is known for its tribal Wali art and Bihar for its Madhubani. Through this documentary, we attempt to discover more about Goa's distinctive old world art and hopefully evoke a similar sense of pride and adoration.
Kaavi is etymological rooted in the word cow. Cow is the red pigment available in the soil content in Goa in many places, and that is used to create a unique form of art in the form of frescoes or in the form of murals that are chipped on the walls or on the ceiling of mainly temples and also houses. And it has been there in Goa much before the arrival of the Portuguese. So it's a pre-Portuguese form of art, and it is native to Goa and the Konkan region.
Kaavi art I first came to know about was at the Desh Prabhu Palace in Pedne. They had this art on the wall, and at that time I did not realize that this is not painting, that it is engraving or etching on the wall. It's later when I saw more and more of it in sacred spaces that I realized that this was something unique to Goa. It was something quite different. The motifs I had never seen anywhere else, and it defined a sacred space in a home, a temple, and even a church.
With Kavi found in numerous sacred spaces in Goa, it is easy to assume that all Kavi artwork is the same. But that isn't the case. Intrinsically, Kavi art is immensely rich in variety and characteristics.
I think there is a difference between the way it is done. Today we find more of murals rather than frescoes, and maybe because I would define Kavi as a craft, as an art, and as a technique. It's all three in one. Plus, it is a design. I feel that the architecture student or the fine art students should have a compulsory subject in Kavi, and there should be workshops in Kavi. So it's a craft, it's an art, it is a design, it's a motif, it's all in one. It's a fresco and it's also a mural.
The technique of Kaavi is the significant distinction for it, which is like you see line, you see red, and then the etchings out. So that is the specific, what you say, like marker for it, the identity. A lot of people, when I would interact with them, especially in Goa, they would identify Kaavi as Nakshi, because mostly in the houses you see the like there's an S shape of pattern. It's like a running scroll that is used to design, say, the wall borders or borders for the doors or windows. Most people use identified that as Kaavi, but that is just one popular design in Kaavi. There are more designs also in Kaavi.
Kaavi art is a technique where lime and mud. It's a type of fresco. The wet fresco method being used in this. So basically, we apply a rough plaster. When wall is constructed, we apply a rough plaster. Then on top of it, we take it to dry, and then on top of it, we apply a smooth plaster. So rough plaster will have a combination of lime, sand, and other natural materials. and also the smooth plaster will have a more lime and very soft sand, very small sized sand, and jaggery and other natural binding materials. So on top of this, when we apply this, the smooth plaster. So when it is still wet, we apply the butter-like red mud paste, and this paste will have a jaggery in it, lime in it, and the natural gluten materials. And we apply, and they nicely burnish it. So the burnishing process is very important in this. And then when it is still wet, after doing that, then they etch, they do the stencils, or they do freehandly, and mainly they use compass to quick for the quick working, the method. So they do the stencil process, the borders and everything being done. And only one thing is, whatever they have started, they should make it within that period. So by the end of the day, they have to work it on. So if it is not completed, then the next day they have to start it again. Like, they have to remove that thing and they have to start it again.
The most common that could be done was say decoratives. So which could be scrolls, like different types of say petals or flowers used as a borders. Okay, that is what we mostly see everywhere, including in churches, temples and houses. And second is, as people could afford more, or there was more space and people who were like say sardars of that particular time, so they decorated their pillars as well. Then you have a lot of geometric designs. They're circles, and within the circles they've done different petals. So it looks like a flower, but it's using say stencils, or like if what we did in school, right? With the compass, we did different types of petals.
Over time, art forms evolve, and it is to ensure that these art forms survive the test of time that every artist makes some changes to their process. With an art form like Kaavi so close to the brink of extinction, the reality is no different.
Whatever in my region, in Udupi region, available materials are there. So I have used that into my work, and we started right now. We majorly focused on few years before, like in 2012, 2013. Till that time, I focused on the working with the painted Kaavi works. For the new structures, when there is no time, we are working with the painted Kaavi. So now, after 2013-14, I started proper research in this field, and I did my PhD in the field of mural study with the Kaavi art in Manipal University. Then I understood this art form more, and I have used different types of mud, as well as different types of pigments in it.
Quite similar in appearance to Kaavi is another art style that is called graffito. Graffito, which is commonly found in Goan Catholic spaces, is so similar to Kaavi in appearance that the two are often mistaken to be one and the same.
Very often, researchers or students, they confuse Kaavi with graffito. Now, what you see in churches is graffito. Graffito, a form of art that dates to the Renaissance phase, that was introduced in Goa by the Portuguese, and that is the red oxide content of graffito art. So that is different from Kaavi art. So when you see many of the churches also in red design, people tend to think that it is Kaavi. Of course, some chapels might be having Kaavi, some churches also might have Kaavi, but you should be able to discern what is Kaavi and what is red oxide, graffito. Okay, so these distinctions have to be very, very clear in your mind. So that form of art, which is very unique to Goa, which is very distinguishing form of art that is prevalent in the temples in Goa, that is Kaavi.
Despite its rich roots and aesthetic beauty, not a lot of people know of Kaavi's existence, or that it is considered by many as Goa's native art form. We spoke to some people in Goa to get a real idea of how well known Kaavi art is, whether people can identify it with a single glance, or even if they have simply heard of the art earlier.
No idea. We don't have any idea about it.
art forms. Seriously, I have no idea about that.
Nah.
हाँ है थोड़ा मालूम, इधर गोवा में भी थोड़ा है और बेलगाम में भी कमल बस्ती जैसा है और हंसी और विजापुर और बादामी साइड और उड़पी वो साइड वगैरह सब कुछ अच्छा ही है, मतलब जो हाथ से किया हुआ है वो आर्टिस्ट है वो ये सब है।
No. Is this a Hava man?
मैंने देखा है शायद।
Experts believe that there are many reasons why Kaavi could be falling behind the curtains of time.
My own theory is that it must have gone with the artists and the performing artists of the folk performances when they went from here across the border. Because in the old days, borders were not like what they are now. Political borders, social borders, cultural borders were very permeable, and there was a lot of to and fro between what we call states now.
The present generation, I mean the earlier generation as well as the present generation and the future generations to come, they do not have anything to refer, and I'm extremely happy that students like you all have come here to document this, and this will be available for the people in the coming generations to refer.
In the coastal state of present day Goa, there are many sites that have walls adorned with beautiful Kaavi work. While we discovered most of them through our research, it still isn't possible to pinpoint every site in the state.
As education has improved, as education has grown up and people have started moving out from the place, the value and the respect for the original arts that were there or the artists who were there is not there. The artists were there, but their children have been educated and they are moving out, giving second thought to this art called as Kaavi.
In our 7 months worth of research on Kaavi art, we were unable to find any leads on traditional Goan Kaavi artisans. Over the years, even the authentic Kaavi artwork done in temples is slowly fading away. In an attempt to preserve the craft, temple committees and stakeholders have undertaken multiple restoration projects. However, the technique adopted for the Kaavi work has slightly changed.
Some temples, the Kaavi art is whitewashed, so they are not aware of the importance and significance of this. It is whitewashed, so you can't see the Kaavi art. You can feel that it is there, but it is whitewashed.
The monsoon also a reason, and we change a lot of things in architectural way and even in structural way. Because of that, the Kaavi art is getting damaged, and our looks are not seeing the beauty of Kaavi art. So because of that, we started painting on top of it with the different colors. And some portions, what I have noticed, that they applied complete enamel paint on top of it, and they made new art form.
When you look at our region, when we look at Goa, the developments have happened so haphazardly that certain pockets of this have disappeared. The settlements that were there, who were looking after this, who were mining those particular things, who were making use of this, those people have moved out from there. They have migrated from that particular place. So these 2-3 factors which are there have have led to this art going, I think, behind the sands of time.
Despite all the reasons why it would seem that Kaavi is becoming extinct, experts and enthusiasts refuse to lose hope. Many still believe that it is not yet too late to sustain and restore Kaavi in Goa.
The children of today are too much into classes, into the 4 walls, learning certain things. They should be brought out. They should be taken out on excursions to different places. It is only when they see, they understand, and they become aware is going to help to protect whatever heritage we have, especially Kaavi.
So I feel that we should find out who are the people who are doing it, and maybe invite them and have workshops. Today we can even have online courses in Kaavi, and we could invite them as resource person to the workshops, uh, and also maybe include it in the syllabus. So only when it is included in the school syllabus or in the college syllabus, more so I would say school syllabus, in the craft or art, when we teach art and craft in schools, this could be introduced as one of the subjects that needs to be learned, and that's how I think we will be able to keep this form of art alive among the younger generation.
Personally, what we have done is we have collected all the motifs. So I've got 100 pen and ink drawings of all the motifs that we have come across. Kausalya Gadekar she's an artist, independent artist. She was commissioned by me personally to make a copy of these motifs. So at least we have the motifs. If we want to use them for something else tomorrow, we can. If we want to repair the wall, we can, because we have a reference. It has not gone along with the wall that is collapsed.
There are a lot of artists, they are working in different fields. If they take interest and they work more, and even I created one research center in my place at Havanj. It's called as Kaavi Bhitti Kaavi Art Research Center, where we regularly experiment. These all experiments will take part, and we did a lot of the workshops for the students of high schools and primary schools, and the PU students, and also for the architectural college. So then in one way this form will be this the topic of Kaavi art will be, the get a good the understanding, and it can be saved. A good awareness program can be taken, and also in another way we are working with the other people or community. Like recently we did few works in Mangalore airport. There I tried with the blocks, and we planted there. So there are also a lot of people appreciating, because they don't know this art form is from this region. So like that way, all these public spaces, if we have this art form, then a kind of awareness will be, we will get.
लोक जे गोंयांत येतात, बीच, चर्चीस म्हणटा पळय, जावं सोरो जावं आनी बाकीचे कितें मजा मारपाक येता पळय न्ही, कावी आर्ट ही पळोवपाक येतले. सो आनी कावी आर्टाचें एक गोवा आसा पळय न्ही, तो कावी आर्टाचो जावपा जाय म्हाज्या हिसपान. आपले जे ओरिजिनल आर्ट आसा पळय न्ही, आतां जशें आमी राजस्थाना, कोलकाता जावं आनी खंय वयता तेंच्या एअरपोर्टाचेर फर्स्ट कितें पळोवपाक मेळटा, तेंचें आर्ट पळोवपाक मेळटा, ओरिजिनल आर्ट. तशें गोंयांनी प्रत्येक जाग्यार दिसपाक जाय आनी येवपाक जाय.
For any art style to survive, just the government support is not enough. You need the support from the mass, the public, right? So Kaavi, we cannot expect everyone to redo the Kaavi in their own temples or at homes for any particular reasons, like say the time it takes, the cost it would incur. But the same technique or the same designs can be reproduced in different materials, need not be only in the original technique. So at least the awareness is raised.
And education in the arts plays an important part in developing creative abilities. The idea of incorporating Kaavi into the syllabus for schools and colleges, in a bid to create awareness among the youth, garners different opinions from different people.
The government can do a lot of things. They can include heritage visits and this type of art forms in the school syllabus or in the art college. The art college should have a part where they should be taught how to do this particular thing. This only the government can do. Secondly, they can have a lot of brochures that are that can be distributed to the people, because Kaavi art, seeing is one thing, understanding it is another thing.
Postcards or fridge magnets or collectible small images, with even tourists who come to Goa they can buy, and with this they will know more of Kaavi, and that can be diverted to, if you want to see the actual Kaavi art, you can say visit this temple or this house, this monument. So that can generate, more interest, and it will help the economy as well.
Everything cannot be institutionalized. Everything cannot be made into part of the organizational structure, I feel. If somebody is interested, they will definitely learn. They will definitely get inspired by the art that they see around them. It doesn't have to be taught to you. Of course, I'd be the happiest person in the world if they included it in the syllabus at the Goa College of Art. But even otherwise, Kaavi is now gaining popularity.
आम्ही प्रत्येकाने अवेअर झालं पाहिजे की हे आर्ट फॉर्म आहे ते आता कुठेतरी नष्ट होणार आहे. जर ते नष्ट होणार आहे मग ते जिवंत केलं पाहिजे. तर जर ते जिवंत केलं पाहिजे तर मग प्रत्येकाने ते स्टेप घेतलं पाहिजे. आणि प्रत्येकाने स्टेप घ्यायचं म्हणजे काय करायचं, जर मी आय एम ॲज अ टीचर, व्हॉट आय एम डुईंग, आय मस्ट इंट्रोड्यूस दिस टू माय चिल्ड्रन in school. So where not all 100 students will go for the Kaavi, but out of 100, if 5 are interested in Kaavi, yes, so my motto is fulfilled. So that is the way, like we must like you, even when you are doing this project, you can introduce this topic to your young ones, to your friends, so they will get inspired with this type of things.
Now that individuals in and around Goa have undertaken many initiatives to sustain and repopularize the art, the government too has begun to take various concrete steps in an attempt to sustain and restore Kaavi in the state.
I brought it to the notice of the our Goa Heritage Action Group. In fact, we had a project for conserving 6 Kaavi art temples. We had campaigns to preserve the Brahmani Maya temple in Karanjol, which we could not. Then we had several campaigns after that, wherein and through our writings in newspapers and others, we try to create awareness of this form of Kaavi art. And in many temples I saw this design, and now recently I revisited the Saptakoteshwar temple in Narwa, and they have beautifully conserved Kaavi art, and they have freshly chipped it on the walls. And sometimes it is not only fresco, sometimes it is done in the form of murals.
We need special tours, and I'm extremely happy that the central government has now come up with an aspect called as spiritual tourism. And in this spiritual tourism, the art forms in temples is one of the major aspects, and I'm happy that this Kaavi, along with all the other art form, that is music and painting and carvings, is going to get a fillip.
For an art so indigenous to the Goan and Konkan region, the question arises on whether Kaavi art's characteristics make it an ideal candidate for a GI tag.
So with the GI tag, it basically means geographical index. Usually it limits to one particular town or village, but I think for Kaavi it will have to be taken for the whole of Konkan. But something like that can be promoted by the government of Goa. Like they're doing it. There are many things in Goa which have already got GI tag, like Khora Mirchi. So something like this can be also promoted. So at least that awareness about that this art style can be promoted.
I think that's a good, it's a very interesting thing. It should be done, but I think it should not be limited to any specific places like temples or churches. I think it's a public art. It's art, traditional art. Wherever you find at every nook and corner, I think that should be documented. That should be known and listed.
Today's map of Goa is a map of 1791, when the last taluka the Portuguese took over is Pedne, and that's when in 1791. So today's map of Goa is dated to 1791. But in ancient times or medieval times or early medieval times, the map of Goa was quite different from what it is today. So you will find that so it is, I would say, from today's parlance, it is a original Konkan art. But if you look at Konkan, it is Goa. It is ancient Goa. So I would say it is Goan art.
बूंद बूंद से सागर बनता है, म्हणजे आपण प्रत्येकाने आपल्या पद्धतीने होईल तेवढं जर हा प्रकार दुसऱ्यांपर्यंत पोहोचवला, दुसऱ्यांना दाखवला, मग आपल्यासाठी त्याच्यासाठी फेसबुक पेजेस आहेत. आता आपल्याकडे खूप मीडिया आहे ज्याच्या माध्यमातून आपण हा प्रकार रातोरात जगापर्यंत पोहोचू शकतो. मला माहिती आहे की there is a bright future for this Kaavi art in future because we are trying our best being the people of this land.
All hope is not lost. Despite its decline over the years, individuals are now putting immense efforts to incorporate this old world art into the modern world, making calls to conserve, cherish, and celebrate Kaavi in Goa.